doing today? Remember me? I'm Dan Pierce, the author of Silent Survivor Screaming Monsters. I'm going around today and just trying to do a little cleaning, and I want to let you know what we're doing. I've started a non-profit called Together We Can, and we're going to be going around the streets trying to clean up all the garbage and everything that's been thrown out here, because it's getting kind of crowded, and I want to shine a light on the mental health population and the homeless crisis that is plaguing our streets of America. So they've done some statistics recently that have suggested that 80% of Americans have tried drugs or alcohol at some point in their life. And there's three reasons why people experiment with illicit substances. One, to feel good and escape pain. Two, to fit in or be social. And number three, to cope with emotional and psychological issues. But there's only one reason that they continue doing drugs and alcohol to an excess. It's because God gave them what they were looking for. It took away their pain, their suffering. They didn't have to think about what they're doing. A lot of people don't realize that the mentally ill have been in hospitals for hundreds of years. For the entire time that the United States has been here, we've had insane asylums and mental hospitals, and most people that were in them were alcoholics, drug addicts, people with schizophrenia, different kind of emotional issues. Back in 1963, JFK, God bless his soul, saw how much abuse was happening to them and decided to quit it all. He said, we're not going to have hospitals zapping them, trying to say, you're electrocuted, we're going to make you better. Yeah, you're going to electrocute you and make you better. That doesn't make any sense. Lobotomies, let's just quit letting them talk. So he put forth the Mental Health Act of 1963, and then unfortunately he was assassinated. And years went by. Other presidents tried to keep it going, and they gave money to the stuff, but it was never enough. The government doesn't want to spend too awful much money, so it always falls short. And in 1980, Jimmy Carter signed the Mental Health Act to help communities get more funding to take care of our population of homeless people. But in 1981, good old Ronald Reagan cut it. And ever since then, the government has been pretending that the homeless population doesn't exist, that we don't have a mental health crisis. So I have started, these people that walk the streets today, they're not just drug addicts. They're not just people that are irresponsible and not able to pay their rent or do things on their own. They're not bad people. They're somebody's brother, sister, mother, father, grandfather. They're related to somebody. They have family. And they've just been abandoned by the government and the mental health system. And now the government wants you to believe that they don't really exist, but they do. And they're out here living on our streets. That's what you see every single day. That old lady or that old guy or that 25-year-old that's walking down the street smoking fentanyl is a person that should have help from the government that should have help, they come from trauma lives. They come from abuse. And if you take somebody from a mental hospital and throw them in the street, that's like taking a 2-year-old and saying, go fend for yourself. It doesn't work very good. So they're out here self-medicating, living in squalor. You've basically said, we're not going to let you come into our bathrooms anymore. So these homeless people that live out here on the streets, they have to go to the bathroom on the streets. That's why you smell urine everywhere. We've basically turned our head away and stopped thinking about them. And we're not that society. We're not those kind of people. Never have been. So it put a burden on my heart to start trying to help these people in a real way, not the government way. The government way is give me money and I'll spend 95% of it making videos and having dinners to talk about helping the homeless. I'm on Social Security and I'm going to give every penny that I have to helping these people, talking to them every day. They need a nursemaid. They need babysitters to make sure that they have a little bit of something. I mean, yeah, I know that they probably made a lot of this mess, but when your children make a mess and they're young, you help them. You clean things up for them. And maybe if we start showing them that we care a little bit more, maybe they'll start caring a little more and realize that we haven't abandoned them or forgotten what they're doing. What's happening out here. So I'm going to spend every day of the rest of my life walking up and down the streets of Seattle and in other towns when I have the money to do that. I'm going to pick up garbage to make it a better place for them, maybe a better place for you, and I'm going to tell them that I haven't forgotten about them and that you haven't forgotten about them either, because I know that you're an American and you're a good American and you believe in the American way, and everybody has an opportunity and a chance to help the people of the streets. So what I need from you is I need your pennies and your nickels and your dimes and your dollars to help me spread awareness and help people like this on the streets. Give them a blanket, it's too cold. Give them a good meal. I'm going to ask these people to try and help me clean up around and take them out to a good meal. Let them know that they're somebody special and that we haven't forgotten about them. So keep following me on TikTok, Instagram, and MySpace, and check out my YouTube. I want to see you here all the time. Together we can make a difference.